Alright, for this video, I'm going to be making probably one of the most important evangelical videos I can make, or an apologetic video, and that is on the issue of suffering. The whole reason I'm bringing this up because one of the biggest arguments against Christianity, against my beliefs, is that how can we have an all-loving, all-powerful God if we have such suffering in the world? To start, I do recognize there's suffering, and it'd be impossible for me to ignore. This world is very unfair. It is horrible. A lot of bad things happen to good people, and a lot of good things happen to bad people. A lot of murderers get away with it, a lot of kidnappers never get found, a lot of unfortunate things happen to the fortunate, and a lot of fortunate things happen to the unfortunate. A lot of innocent children die. People who don't deserve pain and suffering, people who've done good with their lives, suffer. There's times where people will lose everything that they've worked for and earned in a simple sweep of a natural disaster. Kids dying of cancer, all this is terrible, horrible. People working their entire lives for something just be ripped apart from them. This is a horrible, unfair world, and any Christian can tell you that. It is. It's a simple fact. To ignore it is to ignore reality. This world is unfair, and even the Bible recognizes that. We have here in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11. I also saw the things in this life that were not fair. The fastest runners not always win the race. The strongest soldiers not always win the battle. Wise people don't always get food. Smart people don't always get the wealth. Educated people don't always get the praise they deserve. When the time comes, bad things can happen to anyone. That is the Bible recognizing exactly that this world is unfair. It's horribly unfair. Now the question arises, how can we have an all-loving and all-powerful God that allows this to happen? I believe that the Lord is all-loving and all-powerful over His creation. And I believe for us to understand it, we have to go to the beginning. When God created the world, we were told in the garden there was peace. There was perfectness. It was good. In the creation story, God goes over everything. The plants, the animals, the world, the universe, it's everything. The light is good. When it mentions good, it doesn't mean better than okay. It means morally perfect. Perfect in all standards. When God created the world, it was perfect. There was no disasters, nothing going wrong, no disease, no pain, no sin. That's the whole part about it. Sin is the opposite, or rather lack of, God, the nature of God. Likewise is the fruits of it. Where the fruits of God is peace, love, life, happiness, health. The fruits of sin is the opposite of lack of it. Where we have light in God, we have darkness and sin. We have peace in God, we have war and sin. Where we have life in God, we have death and sin. When God created the world, it was without sin. Like in heaven, we were foretold there'd be no sin. The lion and the lamb will lay together. There'd be no murder. There'd be no conflict. There'd be no depression. There'd be nothing. Likewise was in the earth, in the garden. There was no war. There's no destruction. There's no disasters, no diseases, no pain, and no death in the garden. When God gave us this world, He gave it to us perfect. But because He also loves us, He gave us a free will. With that free will, we were given the choice whether to choose God, follow our life through Him, or to take the opposite or lack of God and sin. And unfortunately, we as a species and people have chosen sin. We have then, and we do now constantly. With that sin brought all these horrible things, these destruction, all these natural disasters, diseases, war, slavery, kidnapping, pain, illness, and death. Because of us, because of what we've done, not because of what God's done. When God gave us this world, He made it perfect for us. But when we had control over it, we brought sin to it. We brought all this to it. We are the reason for all this, not God. So now we know kind of where all the suffering does come from. We cannot blame God for its existence. But why doesn't God just get rid of it? There is no doubt in my mind that God is all-powerful. God could swipe away all the pain and suffering in the world. He can end all the storms. He can end all of it. But a lot of times we see He doesn't. Now, why is this? I don't have a doubt in my mind. When we see, especially through Jesus' life, He has calmed the storms. He's healed the sick. He's fixed the paralyzed. God has the strength and power to be able to do these. Why doesn't He? Well, for one, I'd argue that He doesn't necessarily give up on us. There are many times we see where the storms calm down. We see the sick get healed. We see wars end. We see this all the time. Through miraculous events. We see it a dozen times. He does heal the sick. He does calm the storms. He does end conflict. Obviously, there's some times where He doesn't, where He does let it take control. I don't really know. I couldn't tell you why. If I had any idea how or why, I would tell you, but I don't know why He doesn't do it all the time. He does miraculously heal people, and some people He doesn't heal. I couldn't tell you why. I don't believe it to be a personal reason, but He does have His reasons for it. So there's no doubt in my mind that we can't question if He can or not. He definitely can, and He does. I think another argument for it would be He doesn't have the responsibility to. Obviously God can, and He does, but He does not have the responsibility to fix all of it. He didn't create all of it. All those disasters, natural disasters, disease, conflict, war, and death is by our responsibility, by our actions. We brought sin into this world, not Him. We are responsible for sin, and we should do something about it. We shouldn't be looking and begging God to fix everything. We should be helping ourselves and helping with Him. I remember, I hope I can find a clip of it. It's from the movie, An Interview with God, I believe it's what it's called. And he talked about this exact same thing. It's perfect, yeah. I'm gonna get a clip of it and hopefully show you guys. Sorry for this quick little break. I recorded the video with the clip in it, and YouTube copyright did not like that at all. So I'm going to be making this one without the clip. And I hope you guys watch on your own. I'd be happy to link in the description, which I will do. But you need to watch on your own and just pretend to know what it says. The God character says it perfectly. Yes, do something. He's putting the responsibility back on us because that's where it belongs. We've caused all these problems. And a lot of the stuff we still do. A lot of the murders, kidnapping, slavery, war, these are not from nature. These are from us. I can't blame diseases and disasters on what we do personally. Obviously they're a result of sin, but we don't get control over it exactly. But again, as he says perfectly in the video, wars can be ended, disease can be treated, and natural disasters can be well, not necessarily prevented, but also fixed for it. We have to work together to end the suffering. We have to work together because it's our responsibility. God's going to help us with it. That's probably the most hopeful thing I can tell us. All of us. We are not alone in fighting this. Definitely not powerless against it. And that's the reason we have this suffering in this world. Because what we have done has brought sin into this world, and we brought death into the world. And with all this sin, the fruits of it, and it's horrible. We have a responsibility on ourselves to fix it, not on God. God does not have responsibilities. He didn't bring it here. It was all on us to fix it. And a lot of us are. God calls us to charity work and help others. And a lot of us too. We should be striving to do more though. That's why we have this suffering, as I said. It's very unfortunate. God hates it. I can tell you very much in the Bible, He hates the suffering. He wishes it wouldn't be existing. He hates sin. He loves us. He wants to help us through it. Hopefully you guys now have a better understanding of why we have suffering in this world and what we can do to help get rid of it. Thank you for watching, and God bless.